say. Hey everybody, just doing a little stretching and trying to gather my thoughts a little bit, and just figured I could let the camera run while I just think a bit and stretch out, because they're both things that I have to do. And I figured trying to plan things too much will stifle productivity and creativity. So I'm trying to get back into the routine of blogging and vlogging more. Decided that my personal channel is something that I shouldn't worry too much about what I post. So I should just kind of dump whatever there. I mean, it's like a catch-all. It's not just for sharing things necessarily, but it's also my personal archive if I ever want to go back and see what I was saying on a certain day, how I was feeling, what I was doing, just anything. It's kind of just for anyway. So fairly recently, I stumbled on a nice program, or if not, it's a great tool to have. It's called Lossless Cut. Edit something. Oh, I don't know if you heard that, but that was a mean crack. If you want to make simple edits to a video, like just cutting out sections or merging two or more sections together, it does it very quickly. It doesn't have to re-render anything. Of course, that still means that you've got to go and watch your video again. So that takes time, even if you're not doing any major editing, you're just snipping out certain parts. It's still time consuming. I've been, well, let me just say again, so this is kind of like a journal for me as well, so like I was saying before, the videos that I put on this channel, they might be about numerous topics, and I might use this channel in a lot of different ways to track progress on something or whatever. So for example, this video, it's kind of like partly just a personal thing for me. I'm kind of using this as a journal for myself. I'm also using it as an exercise just to run through my thoughts and it helped me verbalize stuff, because sometimes only talking, or I should say only thinking in your head, like sometimes you think in your head, sometimes you actually like talk your way through something in your head, but it's not the same as when you actually verbalize something, when you take the energy and coordinate with your mouth and actually make it real. You make it audible in the real world. So that that has an effect on how you think. So having a camera to talk to, knowing that I'm gonna post a video, or at least going through the motions as if I'm gonna post a video, helps, because if I don't have the camera going, it would be just a little strange to, let's say, just be talking to like my slipper or or nothing, doing a video. um, helps me, helps me verbalize, like I just said. Anyway, I went running yesterday, so I've I've decided to put a little more effort into, you know, being more committed to a better exercise regimen. I've always been pretty good about getting some exercise in during the week, even day to day. Um, but of course, the day to day exercise isn't like good. It's not good cardio. It's not, I'm gonna say, it's not high heart rate exercise, but just like basically strength maintenance. I've got this steel pipe here. I like to set the pipe on top of the dumbbells, and then I can do a lot of variations on that. Like I'll do a gripped push up, and then I'll move my hands and hold on to the larger part of the dumbbell, the bell part, and then I'll move and I'll do palms on the ground push ups. So I'll try to change it up. Like I don't always do the same thing over and over again. I'll do I'll do like bar grip, then bell grip, then push up grip, and I'll do those in sets, or I'll do something different. I've got the pull up bar in the hallway, so these things are really convenient for me. I could squeeze them in every day because they don't take up any time. I don't have to go to the gym. Um, they don't take long to do, but I'm trying to get more running in. So this was this second run I did for the week yesterday. So yesterday I went again, and I did about an hour, give or take. About I did six laps running slash jogging, and usually like a sprint finish. I try to sprint a little at the end. Some laps were slower than others, but what was it? Every lap is about 1.4 kilometers, because I go to the closest local park, the closest largest local park, which is 823 Memorial Park here in Yonghe, and it's a nice park. It's not the biggest park in New Taipei or Taipei, but it's a pretty good sized park, and it has a very large library there. It's nice. So I like to run around that, and it's about a 1.4 kilometer perimeter. So I did 6 laps. That'd be 8.4 kilometers. So midway, I was having some knee pain after the first. I did 3 laps, and then I did a cool down, stopped, walked, stretched, and then started to jog again. And then maybe after about 0.2 kilometers, started to have some knee pain, and I think it was definitely had something to do with tightness in the calf muscle, but I'm not exactly sure what is going on there completely. But definitely after doing a good calf stretch, I felt a lot better. I was able to keep going, and I did another 2 laps, and then stretched again, and then did the final lap or something like that. So in a little bit, I'm going to do another recording. Every time I add compost to the compost bins, I want to record it. I strike that from the record. The food scrap collector, which is about 3.5 liters, that's got to get emptied into the compost, and I'll record that later and post it to the channel, the Red Mage Maker channel. Anyway, moving on. I don't necessarily have to finish all my thoughts. So, compost. What did I talk about before? I don't even remember. Running. I've got to do reports, weekly reports for school tonight, but that won't take that long, because this week is an easy week. We don't have to write comments. I ordered some material. I'm going to be replacing pretty much all of the pots and planters out there with one continuous planter. I ordered some geotextile material. The shortest width that I could find comes at 1 meter wide. So I needed about, the full length is roughly 9 meters. It's only about roughly 30 centimeters deep. And of course I need a little more material on the width to create a lip so that it'll catch the water. But basically with a 1 meter wide length of material, I can cut it in half. So I only need to order half of the length needed, and then I'll cut it in half and have enough to cover the whole thing. I need to join it in the middle. And I'm not sure how I'm going to join it, what kind of adhesive, or if I could use a thermo sealer. Like I've got, it won't be long enough, but I've got one of those crimpers. You can press it down and it'll apply some heat to put a seal on, but I think this material would be too thick for that anyway, and also too long. But maybe I could do a partial seal. Anyway, also maybe I might be able to use a clothing iron. We'll see. The material is supposed to be HDPE, high density polyethylene, but also in the images it looked like it had elasticity to it, the way that they were displaying it and showing it in use. So I'm not sure if it's really HDPE. I don't know. But I ordered some. I'll find out. See what happens when I get it. When I get that, I'll, lay it across, figure out how I'm gonna join the seam, and then I also ordered a length of jute fabric, and I've already got bamboo that's been sitting in the supply room for a while, so I'm gonna create a framework out of the bamboo, which is gonna sit on top of the HDPE sheet that goes across. The bamboo frame will, hold the jute fabric so the soil can be held in the fabric, and that will act as the planter that goes all the way across. And on the balcony there's kind of like a little lip already, like a little channel that runs across. The HDPE material carries the water down, and then it'll all go down into a collection area, and you know that water could be used to water the plants again. What else? Engaging with communities. I'd really like to do something here in Taiwan, like holding a contest for students. One thing I thought would be really cool would be to have a multi-stepped contest. So the first part would be to write a paper, and consideration for the winner would go towards overall composition, regardless of what language it's written in. But the other component would be, how well was it written in English. I would want the report to be submitted in both Chinese and English. And so there would be the overall composition, there would be the English mastery component, and then there would also be the concept. So basically the topic of the paper is how to most efficiently use time or resources to make improvements to the community or the country or whatever local or large scale area you're looking at. But basically either something like that, like local community or larger community. I would want to encourage people to think about things they can do to just to make any kind of improvements, and to think about what gives you the best payoff for the amount of energy put in. There would be a winner for that, for the paper, and then of course there could also be an award given to anyone who follows through with the proposed plan or whatever. And then I was also thinking of having another competition eventually. I really like to focus on reusing materials and waste reduction. So I was thinking about an art competition, an engineering competition. There are so many things that get thrown out every day anyway, just across the board, that could be reused. And three big ones that come to mind that in my mind have a lot of reuse because they're so uniform and they're thrown out in such large numbers. Chopsticks, a lot of wooden or bamboo chopsticks get used and thrown out every day. They could be easily collected and sterilized and then used for something like in this case, I would love to do like an engineering competition where students use them to build a bridge. So these materials instead, they could be, instead of getting thrown out, they could be collected and they could be used to supply a bunch of kids with the materials needed to do an engineering challenge or an art challenge. I've got examples which I'll post soon because I'm doing some. I did some work with them already. I want to do some more examples of things that you could create with surgical masks. The polypropylene, which most surgical masks are made of, um, can be fused together or reused in a lot of different ways, but you can create different objects out of them. I made some lettuce and some cheese the other day um, for an English class I was teaching, a private English class, and we the topic of that class was let's make a sandwich. So I made a bunch of sandwich ingredients. Some of them were made from surgical masks that I had saved. I basically saved every single surgical mask, almost every single surgical mask that I have used since the pandemic started. Every time I came home, I would take the mask off, throw it in the washing machine, or throw it in the laundry, in the hamper. And I would just wash them with the regular wash, and then hang them up. You know, they didn't take up much room in the hamper, so it's not like it really increased the laundry load at all. And I would hang them up to dry with the laundry, and then I would, you know, pack them away when they were dry, save them. And after I had a certain amount, I would process them, take out the nose band, pull off the elastic nylon straps, and you know, flatten them out. Sometimes you have to cut the sides. Sometimes you can just pull them apart. But you know, consolidate them, separate the parts. Probably lost my train of thought. Yeah, guess I'll stop there.